If this episode of the Neil Wilkins Podcast is of interest to you, then I would encourage you to go to aimarketingsummit.live, which will have, as a full-day marketing conference and summit, a whole host of other guests who will take us through all of the elements that are facing marketers right now, all the opportunities from prompting through to agentic automation. So a whole host of things going on at aimarketingsummit.live. My guest, though, today, and more importantly, is Georg Svidlov. Now, Georg is the CEO at Beyond Welcome, which is an Estonian marketing automation agency specializing in marketing automation strategy. And this is the really important bit for me, and operations. So a real practical sense of what is actually going on. His whole career and now his agency have been built around optimizing marketing processes and automating communications. So this is going to be a conversation, I think, that is going to challenge a lot of you listening, but also give you a lot of really practical tools of things that you can do to actually make that step forward. So Georg, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Neil. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is a conversation that I've been really keen to have sort of sooner rather than later, because to me, when I talk to marketers, when they think of automation, they think of AI. When they think of AI, they think of, content creation, easy publishing of social media posts. And they're finding it, I think, en masse, and a lot of business owners tell me this as well, they're finding it quite hard to make that jump between AI is for content creation and then all of almost the gold that is there deeper inside this use of marketing, use of AI rather in marketing to really become more efficient, to scale, to bring in agents to help you with your work. Why do you think some people, in fact, I would suggest a lot of people, are struggling to make that leap?
I strongly believe it's made to look much simpler than it actually is. Because if you do make a quick jump and you start like automating Facebook posts or make your AI agents write your email copy, like right from the bat without having a proper experience of how to do it without AI, I think it dehumanizes your touch points with your customers in the end. And I do feel that in a lot of cases, even without AI, for example, email marketing or push message marketing has been really dehumanized because there's a lot of pressure from the management that we have to push messages out. We have to remind our customers all the time about certain things. And in a lot of cases, this task is given to marketers without not a proper, but not deep enough understanding of how email marketing works and how push message marketing works or SMS marketing. So they're just doing the same mistakes, but now at scale automatically. So in that sense, I think this is one of the biggest challenges that we've seen. Like recently, one of our clients came to us with an issue that their customers were not engaging, at least were not engaging with their emails. And we made an audit, as we usually do, and we discovered that the email open rates are on average 7% in Europe, which is, to me, we should pretty much stop sending anything to our clients at this point. And if you combine this with AI possibilities, now imagine sending not like 3 emails with 7% open rates, but like 20 of them. So it won't make any difference in a sense. It just will fatigue your customers from your messaging whatsoever. So in that sense, we tend to be very cautious with what and how we automate. I would say like one of the best examples of automation comes from a company called Chewy.com. So they sell all kinds of pet products. And one of their touch points is like, if you want to cancel the subscription, you can choose an answer like what happened, why are you canceling? And one of the options is that the pet passed away, which not something that we want to happen, right? But it happens. So what they do, they have automated sending flowers to those customers and removing them from the forward going messages. And this is, I think, where what all the automation and AI should strive to create these kind of human touches in the age where like you're just pushed out, people just push out content, and it's like there's the amount of this content doesn't even make sense at this point. And a lot of it, because the automation and AI can make it scalable really quickly, the quality kind of goes down exponentially. So adding those real human touches to this part is really, really important. But to get there, it's a journey. It's not something that we can do like on a second week of us working with a client. It's usually like 6 months in, we fixed all the base stuff, and then we start actually creating those like meaningful touch points with our clients' customers.
I love this approach. I really do. And I think that example, thank you so much for sharing it, because I think for a lot of us, me included, it just brings to life the priority here, which is not actually the AI and all these tech tools and all this emerging, opportunity to just do things at scale. It is a very, very stark reminder that the most important thing here is the human in that relationship, because it almost becomes all too easy, doesn't it, really? As you press a button, you get 50 versions of a post or an email, sort of creative or content, and you just press the button and it's gone, it's done. And it's almost, I know I'm going to challenge marketers here, it's almost lazy marketing. It's how it feels, isn't it? But what you're condoning here and suggesting everybody should be doing is actually doing more work and actually more effort to make it more human. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. In that sense, like what AI helps is to like fill some gaps that marketers might have, because in a lot of cases, the marketing team is a couple of people. In most cases, I would say, and then they're tasked with like a bunch of things. But if they have a mindset of challenging AI and applying it to their previous knowledge, like removing this lazy part, because one of the things that I do in a lot of cases, I just argue with AI in that sense. Like, obviously, I use it to start a project or think of like out of the box ideas what we could do in with emails or personalization. But then I start arguing with them, like, are you sure this is the best? Like, I've seen this use case and this use case. And then obviously ChatGPT, it's kind of like fixes itself. So like one of the things that I would really want people to do is not just take what ChatGPT tells you as like source of have some knowledge in the area and like think out of the box, because he hasn't had the same background as you, and just like fishing for ideas in that sense. So this is regarding like overall strategic approach, like what we should do. But on the other hand, I feel that AI really fills the gap of like technical understanding of how things work. So in my experience, I've been not a full-time marketer, but not a full-time developer as well. I've been somewhere in the middle. So my career started in one of Estonian startups called Bolt. Essentially, it's European Uber. And there we had a lot of ideas and very limited resources. So we, as lifecycle marketing team, we had to manage a gap between the developers and marketers. So we could like tie those two worlds together. And this is what I think AI can really help all traditional marketers do, is to expand their knowledge in the technical side of things, of what's possible and how much time and effort it takes to get there. Because in a lot of cases, even now, we can see marketers or CMOs coming to us and saying like, hey, we have brick and mortar stores and we have an online store, and we want our online customers to feel the same way they feel as when they come to our brick and mortar stores. So they feel welcomed. The shopping assistant usually knows what they will buy. So it's like this personal relationship there. And they are saying like, hey, we want the same experience level to be in an online store. And then the AI helps to kind of scope the amount of work that needs to be done to make it happen. And I think this is one of the greatest sides of AI that I've done, that it really helps you kind of narrow down on both like marketing and technical side what actually matters in order to make it happen.
Yeah, I love this idea that you said there about this filling the gaps, because it might be gaps in technical knowledge, but it could also, I guess, be gaps in process. So there could be something that if it was filled with AI, suddenly the floodgates open and the leads come through, or suddenly the message actually gets, through to the audience that you've targeted, but beforehand it hadn't. So I love this idea that it's there to infill. It's not there to replace necessarily. It's not there to, certainly not there to take over your job, but it's there to kind of really support you and identify where the gaps in your processes are, which of course leads on to the idea that you have to know your processes. That kind of is almost the starting point, isn't it?
No, absolutely. And one of the things, even you don't have to know the process from A to Z, but you at least need to know where you want to go, and you need to be strict with what you're not happy with, kind of overstepping or shortcutting. So in that sense, like if you ask ChatGPT to write you best possibly performing email copy, it will probably make a subject line something like buy now 50% off limited time deal only for you, only today. But then, like, imagine all of the companies doing that. It would just lose the meaning. So in an age of everybody doing that, and marketers, like junior marketers, everybody's kind of relying on ChatGPT for this best performing copy and best performing strategies. Like, I think what makes companies stand out is actually doing the reverse thing. So it's similar with like user generated content. Like AI videos are flooding and the AI images are flooding the market. So the importance of the UGC content will go down. So now if you just create like a video that's not the best quality, probably filmed on your iPhone, it will stand out more than this really polished, like great, amazing content. So in that sense, I think this is where like the performance marketing should look towards, is that making those non-polished like 85% of like the polished thing. Obviously there are some things that should be polished and so on, but in a lot of cases those meaningful conversations will come from imperfect messaging, because this is like what makes human touch. It's imperfect, it's not polished. It's like, and in that sense I think this is what would be more important in today's world.
I guess for a lot of marketers hearing that, it probably makes complete sense. And they say, well, yes, there is the way to cut through, because look at all my competitors. They're all, as you say, doing these polished, perfect AI created videos, for example, or images. But trying to sell that internally to, say, the management team who are seeing all of these perfect videos and thinking, well, that's what we need to do as well, potentially because they don't really understand this marketing cut through. That's going to be quite a hard sell, though, isn't it? I can imagine a marketer going in and saying, yes, we want to do a really raw kind of footage with a dodgy shaking camera and things like that, because that will cut through. And the management team saying, we're not doing that because we've got to protect our brand. It has to be perfect at all times. Is that going to be a challenge, do you think? Is that going to be a problem? And what could somebody do about that?
No, it's obviously is going to be a problem. That's what one of the biggest challenges we've seen working with our clients is, in a lot of cases, management is really fixated on what they want to see. So I believe us as a service providers, one of the core values is to actually push back in a lot of cases. And in direct messaging and obviously like performance marketing, PPC, like you can see the results quite fast. And what we usually say is that there are no bad ideas. We just need to A/B test them. And in a lot of cases, it works. Like one of the best, I believe, one of the best emails I've ever written was when I was at Bolt, and it was a plain text email. It was part of the win back sequence, and it was plain text email saying like, it's fine if you don't need a car right now, but we will be here when you need one. And that was it. That was the whole email, and it went viral on Twitter because people like suddenly feel that they're not pushed the product. It's not like mass emailing, but they were given a choice to come back. So in that sense, perfect content at all times is to say that, but what's our differentiator from our competitors? Like put up pictures of 5 competitors, like ads of 5 competitors or emails, they will look the same because they're made on the same best performance kind of structure. So in that sense, there's maybe the color is different, but I mean the messaging is usually very similar. The offers are very similar. There's not that much differentiation. So it's not easy. I mean, the management is the one who has to kind of let their specialists do what they're good at in that sense. And I will be honest with you, we've failed in some of those conversations as well. And what we decided is that we will step down from this client because they're not like aligned with our values. Like, I mean, if we're tasked with like buying, let's say buying an email list and just spamming them and using all our technical knowledge to bypass like the spam filters and all of that, I don't feel that's something I want to do or be a part of. So there will be this kind of conversation and these kind of decisions that service providers or marketers have to make, like if they are on board with the decisions they are kind of pushed upon.
Yeah, I love that honesty, George. I mean, I really do, because I think, it is very easy just to keep saying yes, isn't it? I mean, you say yes to your management, you say yes to clients, you say yes to potentially not doing the right thing because there's results there, but it just doesn't feel right. There's a real kind of honesty and authenticity coming through here, isn't there, with this relationship between a brand and its customers. I mean, again, lovely example. Thank you for sharing with that ability to be able to give the customer a little room to breathe rather than just, hey, buy, 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 buy. It's actually, guys, we understand this is becoming a real pain, isn't it? And so what we're going to do is we're just going to empathize with you. We're going to be on your side for once. And we're just going to say, let's just pause. We're here when you need us. I love that example, because it just puts the brand in the customer's side of the court, if to use a tennis analogy. I mean, it just gives them a chance to kind of think, oh, these guys are on my side. They understand me. And there is a danger, I guess, isn't there, with automation, that it becomes very process driven. It kind of loses that sympathy, I guess, for the customer, which, we need to retain, don't we?
Yeah, and this I feel is the biggest challenge for especially like email marketers, or I believe for marketers in general, is that you marketers usually perform in high pressure environments. Like there's a bunch of things that need to be done. There's a podcast, there's a photo shoot, there's an ad campaign, there's some emails that need to go. Like they are very, very busy. And I've seen a lot of marketers broken in that sense, that they stop like caring about the customer, but they start focusing on KPIs too much. And then if you focus on KPIs and numbers too much, you tend to lose this human touch, or this like why you actually became a marketer is to like be fun, build a brand, build something that people can relate with. And in that sense, it is, I believe, one of the biggest challenges in marketing. Like in a lot of cases where we come in to audit an e-commerce store, we find that it's usually we are second or third service provider for the store, and they probably had not the best experiences before. And what we've seen with bigger brands is that they have tens, like perhaps even hundreds of automated emails stacked up on each other. And then the moment the person comes back to the website, they're bombarded with like 4 emails or push message or SMS messages. And for me, it's like, give them some room. Like, you don't have to be that pushy. Like, I mean, you just need message. They don't need all of this information. They, like, in today's age, people cannot process this amount of information. They just need this, like, emails are in a lot of cases used as like product pages on the website, but it's emails have to sell the click or the interest. So people would go to the website and like learn more about what's best for them. So in that sense, one of our US clients, the most effort it took us was to actually build efficiency over quantity. So we started just switching things off. And in an age where you can track all the performance, like we saw that from like 50 email flows that they had, only 20 were bringing in money. So imagine you have like, let's say 30 flows of emails going at different timings and with different triggers, different messages, and they do not perform. They don't show any results, and we still keep sending them because we feel like it. So it's like a weird thing where you have to combine like performance marketing, where performance marketing can help you to actually see that you are doing the wrong thing, but because of, in a lot of cases, because of the pressure from the management, or and you start like forgetting about the efficiency. And for you as a marketer, it becomes easier to say yes and do the thing and just forget about it, rather than have this conversation back and forth that, okay, it doesn't make sense, this didn't work. And for us, it's brought great results, like this approach. We are sending less emails actually, but we're getting better results from each one of them because they start to make sense now.
And I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? That is the kind of the pushback to anybody who says, oh no, it's volume, we need to just keep pushing and pushing. And I guess we're all consumers of brands who do that into our own inboxes. So there's one in particular, as you were talking there, George, that I just thought, oh yeah, it's that company, they're doing it, constantly sending me emails. It's not the time of year, it's a very seasonal product, and I get why they're doing it, because they want to try and infill in the quiet time. It's not summer season, a summer season product. And yet I'm getting literally 2-3 emails a week, and I'm thinking it's just overkill. I'm leaving it on because I'm curious as to where they're going to go with this, because it is becoming spam now. I probably will still buy from them because they're good price, they're good service, but it is very, very tedious. And I think the thing that I'm really sort of picking up here from you is the idea that the data and the evidence can actually run hand in hand with this customer focus, because with the example you gave there, I think it's really important that we don't just focus obviously on customer and then forget the numbers, because we still have to do the numbers, but it isn't to become led by the numbers. If we can genuinely put customer first and then use the right KPIs and the right measurements to back up our story, that actually we only did 3 things this month, but those 3 things worked, rather than, as you say, the 30 things where 20 of them don't produce any results. What is the point of doing that? Complete waste of time. Frees us up to do other really good things that work, doesn't it? So where would somebody kind of start with that process? I mean, is it purely about just getting the data, really measuring what's happened so far?
First of all, I'd just like to comment on your experience that you just shared with this brand, like sending you, but people say, well, Neil purchased because we sent him 15 emails. And that's what's the danger zone. Like, you have to go much deeper into understanding your customer behavior to actually understand what made them purchase the product. Because there's a big chance that if they sent you 1 email, you would still purchase because the product is great. So this is one of the, I would say, one of the issues with the email marketers in general currently is that, we measure our work based on the attributed revenue that we bring in. The problem is, the more touch points we set, the more attributed revenue will this touch point and after that touch point. But it doesn't always mean that we actually made the difference. We just attributed the difference to us. So this is something to be mindful of. But coming back to your question, how would I start? Is I would love marketers to think how they want to feel themselves as customers. One of the examples is that we just onboarded a new campaign manager, and it was just a coincidence that she just took a puppy, and one of our customers is a dog food brand, and she started going through the flows and campaigns that were sent, and she told me that, hey, but I have a puppy, I have no idea what to do with the puppy. I'd love to get like some insights on how to train my puppy. How should I behave? What's normal? What's not? And so in that sense, marketers really have to put themselves into the shoes of the customer, like how they want to feel, what information would they need? Because it's not always about the product, but it's about the support or like the opportunities that the product brings, right? In the same, like you can frame it for every brand. For example, for if it's a ride sharing service, like you can frame it as always being there when you're late for the meeting, something like that. So I would start there. I would start creating a feeling rather than just focusing on pure numbers. Obviously, there are some things like in e-commerce, like if you don't have abandoned cart flow, you're probably missing on a lot of revenue. So there's still some like cornerstones of this direct messaging. But then like what you do past it is that you don't add like another 10 emails to the abandoned cart flow. You start the conversation to go deeper, and you start every touch point to be more meaningful. So I think this is a great start.
Yeah, that point about making every touch point more meaningful, I think for everybody is going to really resonate. You will not believe this, George, actually, and I promise that this is true, but in the top right-hand corner of my screen, I get little alerts every time an email comes through. And it just does this all day. It's just a little notification on the Apple screen here. And you would not believe I've had 2 emails from the very company that I have just mentioned. I promise everybody that is the truth. The irony, I tried not to smile when this came through, and it was desperate. This is a really interesting one because it really says what you've just been describing, George. It feels desperate. The words, and I haven't got the emails up in front of me, it was just a little notification, but the words were something like, buy now at summer prices before we introduce the winter prices. And it was just the way it was phrased, the energy that little email came through with. It smacked of desperation. It was like, buy from us. We are hungry for sales. And that's not about me as a customer, is it? I mean, is thinking about each of those touch points, and that's a significant one. That email could be enough for me to unsubscribe, because it's like, hold on, guys, this isn't about you. This is about me as the customer. And that's what we've got to try and be very careful of, haven't we? As you said, every one of those touch points, because any touch point is a potential lost customer, isn't it? But if we get it right, it could then be a customer for life.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. That's exactly, like, if it feels desperate, it is desperate, because I know the back end of sending this email is that the sales or CEO probably said to everyone, we need to boost sales no matter what. And then the marketer looks at the data. Okay, the more emails we send, the more attributed revenue we get. So this exact like subject line that you just told, it has nothing to do with personalization. It has everything to do with fear of missing out. It's using those negative emotions that make us decide in a lot of cases, which is also like problem of humanity in general. Like we are more triggered by negative emotions rather than positive. But it's not sustainable. That's the thing, and it makes you wonder, like, okay, but if they are that desperate, is the product actually that great? Like, why are they pushing it so much? is something wrong? Like, are their sales going down because they messed up somewhere else? Like it's this is something that kind of starts going on in your mind as someone who genuinely loves the product. Like if it would be me, I would probably not send you any of those. I would probably send you an email, like via segmentation, that I would find meals that uh, have their own frequency of buying the product, and just don't touch them for a long period of time. I mean, they have enough in their life going on, but then if there is actually a good sale, I would send like 1-2 emails. I would check if you opened them, if you read them. So in case you don't open like last 10 emails, like why even bother? Like it just doesn't make sense that they will open your next greatest ChatGPT written subject line. It's a very, very small chance. So why not focus your energy on actually creating touch points that make sense, and perhaps going a bit deeper in your segmentation and understanding how customers use your product.
There's so much to unpack and think about, isn't there? For anybody who's kind of really listening to this and thinking, oh no, George is actually describing everything that we do wrong. We've been doing this for a long time. How can somebody kind of connect with you, George? I mean, because I know there will be people out there who want to continue this conversation and find out about your services and potentially work with you. How best to contact you?
Yeah, the easiest way is to go to our website, beyondwelcome.com. And there is a way to schedule a quick 15-minute intro call with me via Calendly. So this is the easiest opportunity. Or you can find me on LinkedIn and just drop me a DM. We'll be happy to help.
Wonderful. This has just been so fun. I mean, it's just so good to hear from you, all the things that I'm kind of concerned about, but all wrapped up into one conversation. It is just really, really helpful. I think that just kind of echoes everything I think I'm feeling about brands and marketers who are, as I say, being maybe a little bit lazy. And I'm looking in the mirror when I say that, because I'm not perfect. I do some of this stuff too. So there's definitely stuff for me to learn in this conversation here. So George, just one final question for you. If a marketer or business owner is listening to this now and thinks, okay, this is great, I get all of that, I'm going to probably have to go back and listen to it again because there's so many things tied into it, but what's the first thing I should do next, apart from obviously contacting you, George? I mean, what is the first thing somebody should do to get moving in this area?
Well, it's a tricky question because usually if there is a marketer in place, in a lot of cases they know this information. They've read about it, they've heard podcasts about it. So what I would do, I would go to my that this is something we're doing, that this is something or at least do they feel if this is situation we are creating, or are we already in that situation where we just created a bunch of unmeaningful, blunt touch points with our customers? Do we actually understand like how they use their product, and do we have the technical means to understand, to segment those people? So I would start there. In a lot of cases, this will spark a conversation that can lead to improving the whole program.
Wonderful. Georg Svidlov, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much, Neil. It was a great pleasure of mine.